Greetings. I'm excited to engage with this conversation about a topic I've been thinking a lot about recently and studying and researching. And it's about our beliefs. And we're going to try a little experiment and see. We're going to put some of these things to the test here. So, what I'm fascinated by is that I've come across texts and I've received my own internal confirmation that our beliefs shape our reality. And you can read that over and over and even watch videos of that over and over. But what does that actually mean? You don't truly understand that until you think it through and really question what that means to you. And that's what I almost want to work through that myself today, because my eyes have been opened to how that process actually works. And it's so impactful down to the most minute detail of what you're believing in here and what happens outside here. And a lot of that has to do with how you feel about yourself. And I'll speak for myself in this example, but how I feel about myself. And fairly recently in my life, relatively speaking, I had a lot of limiting beliefs. I had a lot of unworthiness. I still do. There's still stuff that's beckoning for me to address. But when you feel unworthy, you create unworthy moments. And what I mean by that is you're limited by what you think you should be experiencing. So just think about that. If you feel unworthy, you are going to limit the type of experiences that you have in your life just by you being the creator of it. So then that begs the question, well, where, are those beliefs valid about my unworthiness? Are they true? They feel really true. That's the thing about beliefs. That's the thing about our thoughts. That's the thing about recognizing that we're not our thoughts. That everything that goes on up here is not necessarily true. That's the biggest. If you can understand that, if you can continually deconstruct how that works, how it operates in your mind, then you're miles ahead of the average person. But all you want to do is be a better version of yourself, right? And this is not a comparative game. We're not comparing ourselves to other people. We're here with a mission on this earth during this time that we have to do X, and it's unique to each person. You don't have, not two people have the same mission while they're here. That's what I believe. Again, there's a belief. So where do beliefs come from? Why do we believe in them so much, so hard? It's very easy to fall into the trap of, well, there's evidence here. I believe this to be true because I've seen it all my life. Well, which came first? Is it the chicken or the egg? That's not a good example because one of them actually does come first, and it's your belief. And your beliefs are developed over your lifetime. They're handed down to you by your parents or your caregivers. They're kind of thrust upon you by people that you care about or that you look up to. Could be older siblings, or could be a first girlfriend or boyfriend, someone who outside of your family starts to care for you, like the first person who cares for you or that you care for them outside of your family. Very impactful at a very young time in our lives, most of us. So your beliefs of the world start to shape your reality. So once you realize that, then you get to cutting. You get to assessing which belief needs to go. Which belief has created this reality that I'd rather not be experiencing? This kind of sucks. I don't like this. If I'm being honest with myself, if I'm feeling into my body doesn't like this. I feel sick to my stomach. I feel like I should be leaving, but I have to be nice to other people around. I have to be respectful. That's a belief right there, that we owe others a piece of respect at a sacrificing of our own respect. Fuck that. Fuck that. Stop sacrificing yourself for the betterment of others. That's just your perception. It's not even true. But what belief do you have to have that leads you to that? There's a worthiness thing right there. I'm not worthy to have the respect that this other person commands, or, I value that person's health and well-being more than my own, therefore I don't want to offend them, right? There's layers and layers and layers, and that's why it's so hard, and that's why most people don't do it. But take the time to sit and be present with what you believe to be true, and make that the game that you play. Turn off the TV, turn off the video games. Anyways, I'm kind of preaching from a pulpit. I don't want to do that, but I'm more talking to myself. Eliminate the distractions. I can talk. Eliminate the distractions and focus on what is the most important part of your life. And to me, that's figuring out how to create it. If we're creators in the body, which I believe to be true, if I have my own free will, and sure, there's things outside of my control, but if I can influence and skate upon the wind and the ice that life throws at me, I want to learn how to do that. I want to learn which beliefs prevent me from having experiences that I genuinely want to have. And that becomes the only game that I want to play. And what I realize is, think of anything that's entertainment, something that you might watch. Think of like boxing matches. A lot of my friends watch that. There's no judgment, right? It's entertaining to people. But for me, I can't imagine a more numbing activity to engage in, because I'm being influenced by other people's reality. There are so many agreements that have been made by so many parties to present that to me, that like my participation of it is my agreement that I agree to that reality. I don't want to agree to that reality. I don't care about two people boxing each other or fighting each other. I don't even care about Netflix shows. Those are distractions. They're other people's ideas and entertainment that they've created to entertain you. Me, when I'm meditating, when I'm coming up with what I believe in and understanding that it's creating my reality, that is more entertaining to me. I have more creative potential to create my reality than I would care to engage in somebody else's creative abilities presented in the form of entertainment via a television show or series. I think this is evidence of my own confidence and myself coming online, having worked through a lot of that unworthiness. It's a very grace-filled journey. A lot of surrendering. I think surrendering is the opposite of sacrifice. If you're done sacrificing yourself, again, I'm speaking to me. I feel like I get to preachy sometimes. I don't want to preach at people. This is more of a reflective. I'm looking at me when I record this, so I'm just talking to myself. If I want to create a better reality, then I study it and figure out how I've created this one, and what beliefs do I need to shed, and what beliefs do I need to adopt to create a stronger reality, a better one, a more fruitful one, a more enjoyable one, a more joy-filled one. Here's the experiment I want to try out. This is conversation number 6? It's been, I don't know, it hasn't been fun or engaging probably for the average viewer. And I'm not doing this for viewership's sake, but I watch some of my clips back, and when I post them, and there's not a lot of joy. At least that's not the major descriptive word that I would use when I watch that. So I want that. I want that to be part of my reality. Not that, I think a lot of truth, because that's what this is about, is delivering truth or expressing truth or sharing truth. A lot of truth is cold. There's not a lot of lipstick on truth sometimes. And I thought about that when I was, quote unquote, getting ready to turn the camera on. Like, what am I wearing? How does my hair look? Like, there are beliefs right there, right? That I have to be presentable, that I have to look a certain way, that there's probably some beliefs there that more people will watch, the more put together I look. And it makes me question my motives, right? And that's my motive from the beginning here, is just reflection. As this is helpful to me. It's almost like a video journal. It's basically what it is. It's like a vlog, video blog, where I'm just working through some of my own things. I come to my own conclusions, and I have strokes of genius that comes out of me when I'm recording. Like I don't plan any of this. I'm not, I had the main topic that I wanted to talk about. Anyways, we're getting down a rabbit hole, but I want to make sure this is aligned with the kind of reality that I want to have. And I want to inject more humor. I want to have more fun delivering truth here. And that's part of the reality that I want to create everywhere. So what I do in one place is what I do everywhere. So the experiment is to see if these videos get more joyful, because just my intention to do so, just my focus on it, that I want to laugh more. I want to catch humorous moments. I want to ride the wave of the humor. And so that's the funny thing, is that I don't have to change my intentions with the subjects I want to talk about or the truth I want to deliver. But now just having that intention, having that belief that I can influence that, means I open up that capacity to do so. And I will be struck with these moments where something is genuinely funny. And I would, if I were a betting man, I'd bet there'd be something funny that happens before the end of this recording, or, dropping the expectations at some point along the way. But anyways, that's what we're going to watch. And it'd be interesting to see how this develops. So yeah, I want to, well, let's see where it takes us. So just the fact that our beliefs create our reality is like a miracle to even consider as a possibility. And I invite you to just sit with that for a little bit. That your beliefs create your reality. It's just fun to think about, because what that means is that your reality is created by your imagination, the things that happen in your mind. And if you can become the observer of your thoughts, then you can meet them with non-resistance when there is an anxious-filled thought or a fear-based thought. There could be a recognition that, hey, that's not me. I wonder where that came from, or why I'm feeling that way. Thoughts will lead to your feelings. One is born out of the other, another chicken and the egg situation. I'm not sure which comes first. I'm not sure it matters though, right? They go hand in hand. But ultimately, if you trace back thoughts and feelings, you get beliefs. What do I believe in? So yeah, so if it's created with your imagination, I like to think of myself as a kid, 4 or 5 years old, when just watch or notice, maybe you got like a niece or a nephew, or someone that you're close to that is that age. Just be present with their imagination. Please do not stifle their imagination. Let it run wild, because that is our greatest gift. And I want to channel that version of myself and how creative and imaginative he was to be able to create my universe at my current age, my experiences. Because if it's true that beliefs create your reality, how good can you make it? What are the ideas? What's the imagination come up with for what you can experience? And I'm not talking about, I think our tendency is to use our reference points. I'd love to travel. I'd love to see this. I'd love to see that. That's great. That's awesome. That can be part of it, and that will be part of it. But like, what do you want to feel? Who do you want to experience it with? What energy do you want flowing through you? And it's just a belief that you don't think you can have that more often or all the time. I've had glimpses of these really connected moments with intelligences or spirits, or, just God, just the universe in general, that I can't explain. And they're miraculous and they're beautiful. But what ultimately has happened is that I'll get that flash and have that experience. And then I go back to my old ways. I want to have those experiences all the time. I want to have miracles. I want to be a part of miracles every day. I want to be a miracle every day. And if that doesn't happen, I wonder what belief keeps playing consciously or unconsciously in my head about why that's not happening, or why I can't have that, why I don't deserve that, why that's not something that's realistic. belief, 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 belief. I'm imagining a ball of rubber bands, and removing a rubber band is like addressing and removing a belief. And you think of a ball of a rubber band ball or whatever you call it. How many of those rubber bands do you remove before you even see progress, right? So it's got to be a consistent exploration of this, and that's why the journey has to be fun. Like, have fun with exploring your beliefs. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm practicing, because then it's not about getting to the point of no beliefs or reprogramming all of it to wait to have the experience. It's the process of the unraveling to get to that core, which is that's your creative power. What's wrapped up in all those rubber bands is the core, is your core, is your creative ability. And the beliefs and the rubber bands are just representative of all those beliefs layered on top. We got a lot. We've lived a lot of life. We've been around a lot of people. We've had a lot of experiences. But if you're serious about this and you see the potential, this is the game. Let's have some fun with it. How big can I believe? How big can I imagine? What would I do with all that power? If I had the humility to wield that type of power, what would I do? What direction would I aim at? Where would I go? What would I spend my time thinking about? Reorganizing my beliefs around. It's fun to think about. What's worthy of it? What's the biggest mission possible that feels bigger than me? One of the core beliefs that I've reversed it. It started as a limiting belief, but here's where the belief is at now: is that I'm capable of anything. I can achieve anything. I can do anything. That in this quantum reality that we exist in, as creators of our own reality, there's no limitations. So I don't want to play small. If this is real, if it's true, I've already gotten proof of that, right? In small doses with other things that I do or have done. I want to take the training wheels off now. On the surface, it might feel like I'm making sacrifices. I'm separating myself from things and people that I've always been connected to or always valued. And there's no judgment, and there's a proper way to do it. There's a proper way to communicate changes that I'm feeling. But ultimately, it's an existence that's calling me because it's what I get most excited about. That's how I know. That's how you know you should pursue anything, is that you genuinely get excited about it. Maybe a wild reference for some people, but there's a guy who channels this intelligence he calls Bashar. He's been doing it for 40 years. He's all over the internet. You can look him up if you want. Bashar, and he talks about this formula that he nicknames the golden thread. And people constantly ask this intelligence when he's channeling this intelligence. A common question is, like, what should I be doing? How am I doing? What should I focus on? And he just says, like, follow the golden thread. Whatever the golden threads are in your life, something that piques your interests, that makes you so joyous and happy when you do it. Like, do it more. Live in that existence more. Be around other people who do that more. And that's how you know. That's how you should live your life. And I happen to subscribe to that. Like, how could you go wrong with that mentality? Unless you have a negative belief about it. I guess ultimately what I'm realizing is the exercising of free will is our greatest gift. What a blessing to be able to choose to become aware, right? That's our greatest advancement as a species that other animals in the animal kingdom haven't figured out yet. Uh, Self-awareness. And if we keep going deep with self-awareness, we recognize how much of our reality we're actually creating. So yeah, our free will choice. Most other animals, and this is true for the human species and has been true for millennia, that we live in a reactive state, fight or flight. That's how we're programmed. That's a large part of how our brain is programmed, and that's true for many animals in the animal kingdom. It's kill or be killed, eat or be eaten, out in nature, out in the wild. We haven't had to worry about that for many generations. And so there's a lot of programmed fear, programmed protection in our belief systems. We don't need that anymore. And you realize, a lot of those beliefs have weapons on the end of them. How we defend ourselves, how we project onto other people, how we keep people at a distance or at bay, how we keep people small, playing small to defend ourselves. We realize how destructive it is to live like that. So this is a better way for me. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to spend my life doing. And I'm finding that I don't need the escape of entertainment. I don't need a shoulder to cry on. I'm not saying I don't have friends or companions or connections, but I'm my own wholeness maker. That's the beautiful thing, is that you don't need anybody else in this journey. Now, don't get me wrong, you need plenty of people on this journey. You need guides, you need people who have been there ahead of you, who have already gone through some of the things that you're about to go through. But I'm talking in those quiet moments when you're by yourself. That's how you get to know the reality that you're making. That's how you get to understand the thoughts that you're having. That's how you choose, if you want to use your right, your God-given right of free will. Some people like playing the game. Some people like to be drained and entertain themselves by other people's entertainment. Again, there's no judgment. There's different stages in the journey where you might come to realize, I don't want that anymore. I don't want to feel good because of someone else's creation, except God's. That's why nature is so healthy and life-giving. But I'm arriving at this stage, and on one hand, there's some changes to be made. There's some changes to get used to, but it's not all bad. And on the contrary, it's heavenly. It's mystic. It's exciting. It's thrilling. How much of our reality is created from needs of safety, and safety comes from the knowing patterns. I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. Things cannot go wrong if I know what's going to happen. Throwing that all out the window. The belief that if I don't know what's going to happen, then things will go wrong. My new belief is, if I don't know what's going to happen, I wonder what miracles are about to happen. You can't have a miracle when you're in your routine and you're so narrow-sighted, so locked into what you're doing, that you lose awareness of the cosmic awareness, understanding. So it's hard to come to that point. Routines get us to where we are a lot. The routines help us advance. And I'm not saying don't have any routines, but I don't know, maybe examine that. Why do you need the routine that you have? Without a routine, you have the flexibility to access your free will. That's my summary. That if I have a routine and I know the next thing I'm going to do, then I eliminate my capacity to have free will, to exercise my free will. And my free will choice is the greatest gift that I have. Think of where AI is getting. Not that I want to talk about AI, but I guess it's an important point to make about humans have created AI, right? AI and artificial intelligence is a spitting image of us. And that's what we are to God. We're natural intelligence. We're NI. And we have free will. We have self-awareness. What we have over AI, what AI will never have, is this packet of chemicals that we call our body that brings all of our dimensional beingness together. And as much as I've talked about beliefs and thoughts today, it's our emotions that set us apart from anything artificial. Our emotions are what's real. And I refer to what's real by just giving us a sensory interpretation of our experience of the world. And that's the beauty of the creation of humanity, is that we have the opportunity to do that. So get in your feelings, sense your emotions, think about your beliefs, become aware of your thoughts. That's the real game to play. If you're not playing that now and you're watching this, you will at some point, because that is the path to freedom. That's the path to empowerment, to wield the creative energy that you're born with, that you were supposed to. Or else you go eat the steak, like in the Matrix, right? Go back. People don't usually go back after they take the red pill. It's a beautiful thing, though. It's a beautiful world, and it's one where we're only now in the evolution of our humanity learning how to be creators. Only now. There have been handfuls of people throughout history, relatively speaking, percentage-wise to the greater population. But I believe that percentage is drastically increasing because people thirst for this stuff. And as hard as it is to come to this understanding, we're getting better at it. We're learning. And we're going to get to a point in our evolution where it's going to become uncomfortable unless we play the game like this. So we're going to leave it here. Our beliefs create our reality. That's so fun and interesting to think about. And I'm going to keep thinking about it. See you next time.